Good evening. It is Tuesday, March 19th, 5:35. All right, this is the CPC meeting. Go over a couple articles that we have to go to town meeting, go in front of the selectmen. Before we start, we'll just do a quick roll call. Chad Leclerc, Park Department. Anybody?
Heidi Pelletier, Conservation Commission.
Jesse Ellis, Selectman.
Kathy Murray, Selectman.
Pauline Texera, Historical.
Michael Madden, Park Department.
Evelyn Boulay, Preservation.
All right, so I guess we'll start with Pauline and Historical. You have a couple articles to present. We'll start with you.
Okay. Anyone?
Either one, you pick.
Okay. The first one is we're asking for funds to complete the fencing at the Long Plain Museum. Last year we did the north side, and this year we'd like to finish the south side. And, okay, they replaced the anchor fence. I've already got the price of $78.86. That comes from the same company that did the fence last year, the ABC fence. I thought they were really good. They did a nice job. Had many compliments, especially through Apple Peach, on their work. So that's the first one I've got for Long Plain Museum.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you mean $78?
7,000. What am I saying?
Yeah, so
I was like, what kind of fences are
so that's, yeah, it's about taking down labor and materials.
Everything included, yeah. 7,886. And this is a shorter fence because we're not going as far back as we did on the south, north side. This side will be shorter.
Oh, I see.
Only because of Apple Peach and the bandstand and everything that's in our way.
All
Do
right.
you plan on adding any more fence in the future, or is that going to complete it?
This will complete what we need for now. I can't do anything further because of Apple Peach and the bandstand. And across the back, I wouldn't even attempt it, because there is an old fence there, and the weeds and everything have taken over. It would be such a disaster to try to clean that out.
Sure.
So this-
Holding up the
There's a
fence.
barrier.
Well,
Yeah, it's breakers and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, so this would be the last one.
That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Sure.
Kathy, you have the paperwork for the funding and everything, like where it would come from?
No,
Okay.
nothing in our box.
I know, I just checked too, so I don't have any of that right now.
Nothing?
Okay.
When it come from historical?
Well, I think we did approve some projects at fall town meeting, so I don't know what those balances are.
Okay. Yeah, I know, we were supposed to get that paperwork. I don't know what ended up happening, and then we lost Nick, so that didn't help, because I'm sure he has all the rest of the paperwork. So, I mean, I think, at this point, without the funding information, I think we need to grab that, but I think we can maybe approve it with the understanding that we have the funds available, where to put it, and then we can go from there.
Yeah,
Just-
maybe like from historical contingent upon funds, and if not, undesignated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we can always get the funds balance information after the fact, and then,
yeah, there's no need to hold another meeting to get these things in front of us. As long as we can approve them and we have the funds there, I can't see why not.
yeah, I mean, this is a project that I think we all kind of knew was coming after we did the other section of the fence, and I know that this, usually I'd ask for a second quote, but I know that this company came in at significantly less cost than the first quote that we had gotten, and to your point, they did do a very good job. Given the length of fence, it seems like a reasonable cost to me. I don't really feel the need for an additional quote on this, but what do you guys think?
I think I agree, because if that's who we used before, I think we did discuss that, and there were we looked at other pricing and different things, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you're happy and you know it, go with it.
Yeah, exactly, I was gonna say, if it was a mess, it's one thing, but.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so if somebody would like to make a motion,
Yeah, I'd make a motion to recommend this project contingent on us reviewing remaining balance in the historical and undesignated funds.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes. And you have your other one.
Yes.
ABC fence, was it?
Yes.
I think it was, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, this is for the Perry Church. We're asking for funds for a preservationist to do the nomination to get it on the National Historic Register. Okay, I've been in contact with this lady, she up near Boston. She is a preservationist, and the good part is she knows a lot of the people at Mass Historical, so she's been talking to them with me. And they're well aware of the church, of course. And all in all, they've given us the approval to go ahead with the nomination. Okay? I do have a letter here from the selectmen giving us permission to go ahead with it. This was good. And this is the lady, the preservationist. Her name is Wendy Frontero. And I've got a letter from her. Well, it should be attached right to your, I believe.
Yeah, we have a copy of the letter.
You got a copy of it?
The letter, yeah.
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 So we've got to figure around 8,000 because, you know, she's taken a lot of time so far just contacting back and forth with Mass Historical. Seems like you can talk to one, they don't know what the other one is thinking, so you gotta call them all and talk to them all. Okay, but they've all given us the approval to go ahead and get it on the National Register. Then at that time, once it is on the register, then we can try applying for grants to get some of the work done,
Sure.
okay? That's the only way, you know, we're gonna be able to do it. Now, the other thing is, they are quite backed up on these, what do I wanna say, on the,
Just
Like
do-
processing the
people.
applications.
Yeah.
yes, for the application, thank you.
Yeah.
So it could take up to 2 years
Well,
to get everything through and approved. Okay, but I feel quite confident about it. I mean, I worked to get the Long Plain Museum on the register. We got that through. Also, the Rivers End Historic District. We did a lot of work on that one, got it through.
Wow.
Yep, so kind of confident this time it'll work.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think you answered my main question too, which was what's the benefit of it? And if the benefit is that you can start getting some grants
Grants.
once it's on there, then that makes sense, because
Yeah.
I know there's some work that needs to be done,
Oh.
you know, so.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Yes. And, you know, there is a lot of issues. We're still kind of going into it somewhat blind, I should say, because we're not sure about septic system,
Yeah.
you know, and the building has no heat. I mean, it needs this sheet rock. There's quite a bit of work that needs to be done. And right now, the 2 porches on the front, when that work was done, when Jim Merritt was here, the 2 porches are now, the steps are rotting away. They need to be rebuilt. And I'm told that we cannot touch them in the time being. Okay, so they're gonna have to stay that way. We've got them roped off, so nobody will go in and out. Really, nobody goes in the building except myself and my husband to check on it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think, they may have a key here in Town Hall, but they say it's only us checking on it. We check on the museum and the meeting house too.
Sure.
Yeah, gotta take care of these buildings.
Can you tell me what it used to be, a little bit about its history, just quickly, like, was it a church the whole time?
Oh, yes, the church, well, it dates back, and you had to ask me that. My
I'm
mind's
sorry, that's
blank.
okay, I didn't want to get into, I just wanted to just a little, I'm sorry, I just
Oh,
It
didn't.
says
It is
1840s, right?
eight-
Well, this says
18,
This is
That's
done.
okay,
This is
for
done.
another time.
Yeah.
it dates back, or
Goes a ways.
1871, is it?
Well,
Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, it's really stuff.
yeah, and I think that hopefully with that, maybe we can, I know the biggest obstacle is the bathroom, right? We need the septic and a bathroom in order to move forward, to be able to utilize the building, so,
And another good thought, I brought that up to the gentleman I talked to up at Mass Historical, and I questioned him as to why the building inspectors are telling me I need 3 toilets in that building. Why? There's not room for one, unless we put on a little addition on the back. And he told me, is that what you're being told? I said, yes, sir. I'm being told this, the code has changed, and they're saying we need a men's, women's.
And gender related.
Yeah.
Gender neutral.
Okay? He told me, he said, don't worry about it. When the time comes, you talk to me and we'll see if we can work this out.
Yeah.
I don't understand why these old buildings are not grandfathered in. Like the meeting house is another situation, another problem. They won't let me use the building. They won't let me use the grounds. Nobody's supposed to be in the building because there's no bathrooms, no heat. There was never any heat in that building. I mean, there's cast iron stoves in there, you know?
Yeah.
Whether they were ever utilized, good question. But there is no bathrooms, there's no running water, and there's no heat.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going on tours of that building when I was a child
Yeah.
with my mother. She would
Yeah.
go and volunteer there
I
sometimes.
love that
and-
building.
Yeah.
Oh.
you got 10 minutes to get in and out, because you can't use the bathroom, because there is none.
Yeah, it's just the way it
You
is.
know?
Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of room to put a septic system in,
yeah.
you know? In fact, the DPW once told me that we can dig it for you, you know, and put it in.
Yeah.
The place is, you would have to find a place to put a bathroom,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, outhouse in the back.
But that's what I'm up against with these old buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that, you know, if it does get designated as a, you know, National Historic Site, that's gonna bring a lot of additional resources in terms of, you know,
Mm.
logistical stuff
Yeah.
and making sure that we can get waivers to work around code when needed so that the buildings can be even utilized as a, you know, a stop-in museum with no actual events taking place there.
Right.
Bringing tours there, I mean, all that kind of thing.
I mean, the meeting house, I mean, that building is very safe.
Yeah.
You know, the flooring's been, when they remodeled it in 1980,
Mhm.
I think they made it a solid building. I mean, you walk in there, you're not hearing no floors creaking or anything like that. Whereas the church, that there is a dilemma there with the church.
Yeah,
They need it to be
Yeah.
reinforced underneath.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
All right.
it's an ongoing project.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I just want to make sure I'm clear on the expenditure here. So it shows here in the proposal, proposed fee is $8,000, payment required as follows: 65% or $5,200 will be invoiced upon my submittal to you, meaning to the Historical Society in the town, for draft nomination form review and comment. And then the remaining balance, 35% or $2,800 will be invoiced upon submittal to you and Mass Historical Commission, and that's MHC, right? Mass Historical
The
Commission.
final package,
Yep.
yeah.
Of the final nomination package.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
That's why we're asking for the 8 was to, you know, put
Yeah, that'll
aside
cover
for
both.
it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to recommend this project for funding, again contingent on us reviewing open historical and undesignated funds balances.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, so moved. All right, next up and final
Great,
on
thank you, Pauline.
Thank you.
the project is Park Department and Mr. Mike Madden.
How you doing? Thank you for letting me come in today and talk about this. Just keep those who don't know me, a little background that would be important for tonight's meeting is I was on a police force for just over 23 years, recently retired. In that time, for many years, I was a fleet manager, took care of all the cruises, unmarked and marked cruises, mountain bikes, motorcycles, and ATVs there. When the change of chiefs, when Chief Richmond took over, we got hit with COVID. And the fiscal year 20 was a scary one, so I was able to he allowed me to really dig in and kind of move some things around with, as far as who we were dealing with. I was able to, cut the price of the cruises by almost 12,000 a piece. We cut down to one that year, we repaired the others. In that time of my police department as well, I was deemed by the training council to be the area expert on ATVs and side-by-sides, and I developed a training program for it. I did all the training for the police department on the ATVs that we do have. We have 2006 Yamahas, and they're still up and running. That's important because while we're going with the side-by-side and the ATVs, which are cheaper, the side-by-sides is a lot safer, you need a lot less training and the strength of them. Now, fast forward to the park department, we're using golf cart, we're using a skid steer style, a zero turn lawnmower to do some of the projects around the park. That's not what they're meant for. We're putting a beating on some of the equipment there and just making do as you do with a smaller budget. That said, Chad and I were talking, and he had asked me about the side-by-sides. I started looking into it. You typically, farm work and that sort of thing, utility work, you're typically looking at Kubotas, the mules, the Mahindras. They're vastly underpowered for the amount of weight you're pulling with the stone dust and that sort of thing and the clay. And they're about double the price of the machines I've looked at. I've been riding ATVs side-by-sides my whole life. I know them. I'll tell you right now, the Yamaha is probably the most reliable one I would go with. I'm a little biased towards them, but price-wise, the other two machines are just as good. I did forward a rough estimate. This is the time of year, ATVs are not quite like motor vehicles. So the 2024 machines still haven't fully arrived in the stores yet because they're still trying to get rid of the 2023, so nobody really wants to deal with you on 2024. Problem is, the stock on the 2023s is very low. So to find a machine the size we want, without going to the big giant machines, the big giant machines are the expensive ones, there are plenty of those left over. The size we want, we're looking about a 700cc machine will have enough horsepower and payload that we can haul dust, stone dust, the clay and that sort of thing. Sure. Trailers accurately and safely. You can go down to like the 570 range, which you see there with the Polaris 570. However, you can't find a 570 right now Polaris that's in stock for 2023. Sure. So I'm looking at the 2024 product line. It's going to be a slight bump up in pay, but I'm going off of the one quote I did get from Yamaha. And Polaris gave me a quote for the 2023 model, but nobody has one in stock, so it did me no good. Right. So we're looking, the Honda and the Polaris are going to be the best priced in that power range. Okay, and they're both perfectly acceptable vehicles. Now, with that, that's just a machine. There's no winch, which you need to operate the plow. There's no plow. There's no safety lights. The reason we want to plow is a town resident did do some plowing in the park this year against wishes. However, it was a great idea. It's nice to have. The problem is when you plow, you now have a spot for people who want to walk. It's going to be icy, slippery. You have to maintain it better than just going through it once. You have to put down some salt or whatever to keep the path clear. And that park is utilized for walking quite a bit. So between the season of baseball, what we would be using it for to haul, it would be very handy, but also for the plowing. And you can even throw an attachment on the back to spread the salt and sand on the walking path. To fully outfit it with all the pieces we need, we're looking at about another $4,000 to $5,000. And I'll tell you right now, we can go to one stop shop, tell them, hey, outfit it with this. We're going to spend over $20,000, probably closer to $24,000, honestly, with what they have. We are able to. I have the time. I can shop around and find some other better deals for the lighting and upfitting of it, along with the plow and the winch. and some of the dealerships that are on the state bid list and stuff, they're willing to work with me too on some of the items. So we'll, build a rapport and see what we can come up with. So in total, we're looking for approximately $17,000 to get a machine on the ground, and running with the equipment that we need to make it utilized. These machines are extremely safe. The machines we're looking at all have safety belts and that sort of thing, but they're a little wider stance. They're not tippy or anything like that, and they're not like what you see kids whipping around in ATVs and not be flipping over or anything like that. So these are farm tough machines that can kind of haul around and do quite a bit without the speed and that sort of thing. So pretty strong vehicle. So again, we're looking at about $17,000 in total to get one up and running.
Yeah, and if I can add to that a little bit too, like Mike said, we have 3 mowers there. We have an old diesel tractor. We do what we can with the diesel tractor. The 3 lawn mowers, we're dragging fields with dust and dirt everywhere that go in for maintenance a decent amount because we're using them for things that they're really not supposed to be being used for, but that's what we have for our usage. The golf cart's not even a town golf cart. When we have tournaments from the Fabe and Acushnet Little League, we have 2 golf carts that are owned by the league. They're kept at Shaw Road. Somebody usually brings one here, and we get to use it during tournaments so that we're not driving around golf carts and, driving around lawnmowers and all that to get from point A to point B, because that's what we end up doing. The kids that are here, they'll use one of the sit-downs, the slower lawnmowers to drag the trailer with all the screen and all that to work on the fields during the tournament. So something like this would allow us to get around a lot more. And I've always wanted to, plow the walking path, but I always knew, we have to be able to get there and sand it and keep it from being icy. Then when the resident did it, I had all these compliments on Facebook showing pictures wow, thank you for doing the walking path. I'm like, okay, I guess people are really getting out and using it when it was done, even though it wasn't done great. It was kind of a go quick through, and there was no sand or salt or anything else. We do also maintain behind the school, and they have a walking path too. So if we get a trailer, if we can find one, or use the one that we have if it fits and we can reinforce it, we might be able to take it to the school and do the walking path there. And now we have, access at both locations. So
The only other thing I would add is if getting a trailer was needed as well, you don't need anything fancy. The machine, most trailers you can get, for a couple $1,000s will suffice, and that's brand new trailer.
yeah, we have one. It's just we probably need to reinforce
the bed. Okay, but yeah, as Chad said, it's an appropriate tool for the job. Sure, many of us have tried to make a tool fit the job and get rather unsatisfied with it. Well, that's the problem, and the ease of use of this. The old diesel tractor is extremely difficult to even operate the levers. It's very old.
Yeah,
I think it's the 70s or something, and it's just very old. And for who's using it, it's just we're better off having the right machine for the job, and this would be the way to do that.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you were to bring on any new employees, just trying to get them trained up on how to use that old thing would potentially be a
Took me a while, and
Yeah.
I got caught out in the field trying to lift it because the shift slips out quite often, so you got to know how to get it back into place. So,
Yeah.
but it does the trick for what we need it for. So yeah, we haven't ever looked to upgrade that, and this I think would take some of the load off of that and use it only when necessary.
Make all our other machines last longer, and this is, as I said, we have, the town has stored at the police department is those 2 Yamaha 2006 Yamahas. We have 20-year-old machines still up and running, and they're good machines. The 3 machines I went with on this, and I'll get the official quotes and everything going forward as needed. But if we can just appropriate that would be.
And I've asked for a pickup truck numerous times, and we can never get one. And the ones that we get are hand-me-downs from the DPW that they don't feel safe enough to drive. They give them to us, and we don't feel safe, so we give them back. Now we have a sheriff's van that people think we need to put a sign on because it's a big white van in the parking lot. So that's what we get to get around with, but you can't plow with it, you can't pick up dirt with it. And like I said, if we had a pickup, maybe this wouldn't be necessary because we could throw a plow on it. We don't have that either, so.
And this would be housed at Hook Park and then, potentially maybe able to transport to the schools at a later date.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
and I know, at selectmen's meetings, if we float around the idea of more properties
Sure.
coming on board for the park department,
Mhm.
this is something that would be able to be utilized at pretty much anywhere we go.
Yeah.
So it's a very easy thing to load onto a trailer and move.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the trailer, like I said, that we have, has everything we need to, for the most part, to get it on there. It's just reinforcing it, because it's really just used to throw stuff on now at the park and leaves and whatever, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess this would be the one that, funding wise, we're gonna make sure we have around too, but, I was
Is
hoping.
it enough? It's like 17,000 is enough for you, really?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And you don't think that given the amount of work that this thing's potentially gonna be used for, you don't think that like the yearly maintenance costs or anything like that would be exorbitant?
So, as I've found with these side-by-side machines, the normal wear and tear on them
Yep.
is not very much.
They're pretty cool, yeah.
Especially now with fuel injection. The four-wheelers we have, the ATVs, are carbureted. It was last year for carbureted. I wish we had waited one more year. That's the biggest problem with today's fuel.
Yeah.
Other than that, if you keep it clean, which is not difficult to do when you're not going to the woods, because that's not what we're doing with it.
Right.
You keep it clean,
Mhm.
it runs forever. You keep it clean, keep the normal maintenance, which is not,
Yeah.
it's cheaper than a vehicle for oil changes and sort of, it's just like another lawnmower as far as
Yeah.
maintenance wise. As long as you keep it clean and keep it going, it's fine.
All right. Yeah, I didn't have any more questions. I think it sounds good.
I obviously don't have any questions.
That was very thorough, thank you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that Parks is gonna need better equipment to continue to do its job, and if you're talking about using a tractor from the '70s and a bunch of golf carts, I mean, that's.
So-
Yeah, especially because your park is so utilized.
Yeah.
It's a pretty.
Well, even the mowers I know cost more than,
Yeah.
you know what I
this
mean,
is
they
not-
cost more than this, and we have, you know what I mean, so to ruin those, we've already had to replace one because, over the years, just using it for that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, all right, I'd make a motion to recommend this project, again, contingent on reviewing open balance in
Yeah,
parks.
for UTV at 17,000.
17,000, yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye,
So moved.
nice.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so other than that, so we'll have to reach out and just make sure we have the money available in for all three of these. Other than that, I don't think we have anything else on the agenda. I know it does say to approve a CPC FY '25 budget, but I don't think we have that either.
I guess not. I
Okay.
did talk to Jamie and I told him last Wednesday and I told him that we were meeting, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I did have some like rough figures from Nick before he left,
Mhm.
which I don't have with me. But the one thing I spoke to Jamie about is they had estimated like 40,000 from, as the state match, and I had got information that the state match was expected to be maybe 20%. So I thought that number was a little bit high, but then our prior interim accountant here works in Lakeville, so I actually asked him, and he said that they are only recommending like 23,000, and it's roughly the same kind of amount, same amount of revenue.
Mhm.
So he said, but you can always correct that in the fall
Mhm.
town meeting. But that's pretty much all the info I had, so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's all right. If we didn't get a budget, then, we may just have to push this off to another meeting. No fault of yours, by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly not.
So if we do have to approve a budget before town meeting, we can even do like a quick Zoom.
Yeah, we can always do a, interim
If
meeting
we
if we need to.
can't, if we
Yeah.
can't all connect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, with that said, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
sure.
I know Kathy goes through a lot with all the emails and getting us together and who schedules what and who's where, and that's pretty stressful. Anyway, I was thinking if we met, and I'm not sure if this is okay, but 4 times a year, because there's 4 seasons. Pick like a Monday or a Tuesday or Wednesday, and let's say we meet at 5:30 every second Tuesday of the month, or the third Wednesday, whatever fits. But we gotta start with something, and if we put something down, she won't ever have to. We'll always know when we're supposed to be here,
Yeah.
because any board that I'm on, I know when I'm supposed to be there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know it's the third Wednesday of the month, or it's
Mhm.
it used to be the first Monday we used to do it with Jerry way back when, or
Mhm.
Sure.
yeah, and I just think it would take a lot of wear and tear off Kathy and all of us, because it'll just be what we do.
Mhm.
And if we need to meet more often, we can,
Sure.
but just a suggestion, so.
Yeah, and
We-
if we ever have a scheduled meeting and there's no proposals, we can always just cancel the meeting. Or
Correct.
any reason to meet, but having something a little bit more structured, I think is wise.
Right, and now, your town meetings are twice a year, so like May and
When does she-
October,
November.
April, October.
November? Are we doing
They're-
June this year? Is that what?
I'd have to check the town,
Oh, it was
Town
June.
meeting.
town calendar, I'm not
June.
sure.
Yeah.
May?
I can't remember.
Jeez.
Well, don't we have one next month, or May?
think
So we have a town
May,
meeting, yeah,
maybe
so the
May.
other one must
I
be,
thought it was a little later.
it's gotta be November.
Yeah, it's usually May, November.
Okay, so
The
that's what
norm.
we'll do. So if it's in, let's say May, that's already the 5th month.
Do each
So
side
let's
do
go,
this.
because we need it done before town meeting. So let's go with January, April, right? And then,
Well, the only issue I would have with the April, so we might push it, do we push it back, is like this is March, because they want it in by March for the May meeting.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
It
why we're
takes a
having
cer-
this.
Yeah, it takes a certain amount of lead time.
Yeah,
Alright,
so
so-
I'm just thinking if we
And
did, I don't know, a first Tuesday of the
Yeah.
month works, you know what I mean?
You wanna do that? Let's take it. I like it. You said it.
First
It's
Tuesday of the
perfect.
month,
We
and
gotta
we'll-
start somewhere. I love
What
it.
are we in March now, so we'll
Are
say
you good
June?
with that, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can tweak it, we can move it, we
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
do.
we don't need, and,
run
you know,
this
we don't
way.
need to set the date specifically now, we can get some guidance and say, okay, well, once we suggest something, it has to go before finance, it has to go before select board.
Yeah.
So at least getting a time frame of how much time do you guys need before a
Yeah.
given town meeting, so that we can plan our meeting around that is I think reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, but at least we have
Yeah.
some base, okay? So we'll go with the first Tuesday of every month,
Every month.
5:30?
Sure.
Is that
Yeah,
good?
that works.
You want earlier?
Yeah, no, that works.
Good job.
No, that gives
Like-
everybody
Yeah.
time.
Well, I've been
That's fine.
talking to Kathy,
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
was
Absolutely.
pretty stressed
That was-
last week,
Yeah.
and
What doesn't help
Just
too,
what
when
she
we
does
have
for a
changes in the
living.
town hall and you're trying to get, like, Nick leaves just as we're
Yeah.
trying to have this meeting,
Yeah.
and that's kind of tough wrangling that information together, and
Yeah.
obviously everybody else is trying to get, the selectmen stuff together, and it just,
Sure.
it does get difficult to, it would be easy if you could just reach out and say, hey, what do we need? They give it to us and we're done.
yeah,
But-
we can just tell them, our next meeting is
Yes.
such and
Yeah.
such date.
Yeah.
and
Bada
then
bing, here
that's-
you
Yeah, we
go.
can post it much earlier too if necessary, and people can throw stuff on there, and,
Yeah.
all right, so we'll look at some dates, we can get that out, I mean, we can do that.
I can email you
I was
tomorrow.
gonna say, so the
And we
first,
can do this well,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, the next meeting then would be April 9th,
Okay.
tentatively.
Awesome, as long as it's not school vacation, I'm good.
We'll do it
It's
there.
not, and then maybe that would work, because if we do have to approve a budget, we could do it then.
Let's
Yeah.
set it April 9th for now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're doing the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday?
First Tuesday.
Oh,
So that would be
That's
the
what you said,
second,
so
April
we're almost
2nd, I know,
like you
that-
said.
yeah, so April 2nd.
April
Okay.
second.
Oh, I thought you said second.
I know that one being on relatively short notice, I can say with certainty, I almost 100% cannot attend in person on April 2nd. If there is an opportunity to zoom in, I may be able to do that, but
Gotcha.
in subsequent months, I don't think it would be.
Right,
an
so let's
issue.
keep it,
Yeah.
because even if we go 3 months later, we're talking almost July 4th
And-
weekend, so we might be, you know what I mean, that, it just depends.
Even if
So-
I can't make it, as long as you guys have quorum, then we're fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Worst comes to worst, if we absolutely had to postpone that meeting, because it's on short notice, we could always do
Yeah.
it the week after, and I'm sure it would be fine.
and that one,
But
yeah,
moving
but at
forward,
least we have an idea.
yeah, because that's only
Here,
two,
and Kathy.
it's essentially
Have to get everybody's
2 weeks
schedule.
from today, so it is kind of short, but, we can at least double check.
Yeah, we
See
can
if
double
we
check
need
our
to meet,
numbers.
I mean, you never know, we might say we need to
Yeah.
meet just to say, designate which,
And we'll do
where to
it.
put it, you know what I mean, so then we'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
exactly.
so.
I mean, that'll give us
With the
time to
ninth
check those
better.
budgets, and we can, get final approval if needed.
Yeah.
Automatically.
You know,
No, we'll stick with this for now, we'll talk, we might not need it at all, and then we can skip it and move on to
Yeah.
the, whatever the next quarter is and go
At
from
least we
there.
have some, because I'm gonna go right home, it's going immediately on my calendar, until I hear different from Kathy, or you.
Okay. I just have to look at my baseball schedule, but April 2nd will be good.
No,
I don't have baseball just yet. Okay.
Baseball's important,
It is.
we'll work around it. I agree.
And so, anything else, any other?
No, this was excellent.
Just a CPC plan update, there's not much to update.
Okay.
I did reach out to committees, I gave them some questions, but there was like no official vote except for housing, so it's been super busy the
Sure.
last few months. I'd like to get back in that, and then I'd also like permission from the committee, maybe just to reach out to Serpent, just to get a price on, to have an outside, to have them take a look at it and see what they would charge.
Yeah,
Just for an idea, I mean, we have the money in our admin, so if we could get it done fairly quickly.
I think that would be wise.
Yeah.
Having an outside professional take a look at it, especially with so many CPC communities around here, it's certainly not the first one that I'm sure they would have taken a look at.
So if that's okay with you, I'll reach out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Let you
absolutely.
know.
One more small little detail. Do we have a certain room that we can report to? Will that be a hassle, or do we have to call every few months and ask, or do you have a suggestion?
meeting?
Yeah, maybe someplace that we are out of the way and not bother them anyway, you know, we don't always have to
Not
be
sure.
down there. Or maybe he can make a
Good say.
suggestion, he does them all.
I don't know, I reached out to select board's office and she
And-
said that that room was booked, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
that's
got
okay, we
the-
don't have to be there, this is
But
awesome.
we've got the, yeah, I mean, I think this room is fine for our board if we don't have any
Yeah.
people coming in to present. It makes it a little tight when they're, especially if we're all here and so forth.
Maybe they can't
but-
come.
But I mean,
Yeah,
we've had
I
a
mean,
meeting,
Just kidding,
finance,
I'm just kidding.
finance has had one at the police department before. They got their area too, right?
Yeah,
So,
we've
I
got
mean,
it can be- it can be
conservation's
done.
in
yeah,
it.
so I mean, we have places, but,
It's a nice Room two.
if, I like this room if it's just us, and then if we have people coming in to present, yeah, I would
It's
think a
bright and
bigger
nice.
space is definitely a little bit
The
better.
thing that really would help hold us up is if there were members of the public that wanted to come observe
Yeah.
and comment.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, this space is not really.
Right,
We need to
exactly.
do something else, but.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it,
Yeah.
but at least
When we get
we
to it.
have
But I like the
idea.
idea.
yeah.
I like the idea, I'm all for it.
Oh, thank you. But that's Kathy and I, it's not just mine.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Wait a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5:13, we are out of here. 6:13.
Excellent.